Bro, in attendee section only he will be there, right?
Hello, all. I'm Vinod. Let's give a few more minutes for people to join. About 188 participants now. Hey Viral, we are waiting for people to join in. Hello all, good afternoon. I think we have about 260 participants. So let's begin. Hope you are doing well and it's just the weekend's about to start. So hope you all are excited. So today, we are covering Excel from where we had left off from the last webinar. So today we are going to cover the text functions. I think this is one of the most underexplored area in Excel, I would say, because people don't usually go to text functions and do a lot of stuff over there. It's usually the VLOOKUPs, the index and matches, the ifs and the ifs, the count ifs and stuff. Those are the ones that gets the major attention. The text functions are usually less concentrated or less used. So thought of taking guys through the some of the commonly used or the useful text functions so that you could use your in your day-to-day work. So I'm going to quickly start share my screen. Give me a heads up or give me a thumbs up once you're able to see my screen. Could one of you confirm if you're able to see my screen? Awesome. Thanks, Manas. Thanks, Akash. So what do we have today? So again, like last time, these names are completely fictitious. These were generated using Copilot, Microsoft Copilot. uh, so if you find somebody with the same name, that could be just a coincidence. So what do we have? So today we have about probably about 12 to 14 formulas, wherein we speak specifically about extracting some information from texts. So looking at a text, what is the length, what is the if you want to find a particular particular letter or particular symbol, we will use these formulas. If you want to convert something into capitals, something into proper, or something into small letters, we'll go through everything. So like the last time, I have all the formulas written over here, and in just about a minute I'll show you guys how do we use this, right? um all right. So so in in column B, or in the second row, you might already see some values, some values in here. I've left this, I left this over here because these are the expected values. Since text functions are not that widely used, I thought, let me leave some, let me leave some expected values over there, so that we are able to relate to what we are talking about. Okay, so let's begin. This is our the first two columns are where we have a lot of information, or this is the only set of information that we have. Using these two columns, we're going to fill everything up here, up till q. And there is some text to date function that we'll be speaking about, which will be to the later part of the call. All right. So some of these are, in some of these are nested formulas. I'm sure you guys have seen, you guys have worked through the nested formulas. So I thought, let's pick up a simple formula and see how complicated we can make to get result out of a really unstructured data. So let's begin this. All right. Um, so to begin with, let's see find. So what does find do? And if you want to, if you're interested, where do we find all these formulas? There is formula bar over here, or formula grid. You can just go in here and see, which are the different types of formula that are available in Excel. And then today we are specifically speaking about text functions over here. If you just click on this and go through, or hover your hover your this thing hover your cursor on these formulas, it'll tell you, it'll tell you, what exactly these formulas do. So you can go to replace, proper, mid, lower. So it basically, on the pop-up text, it tells you, what it does. All right. So that's, I'll leave that, I'll leave that with you guys, so that you can just go here and learn more text formulas. So we'll learn the ones that we have here. So to begin with, like I said, find. So what find does? Find identifies a symbol or a letter, or a character within text, and tells you on which order it comes. Basically, say in here. So like all the formulas, we start this with equals, and we'll just use the find function, and you just read the formula tile, and start filling your formula in the same way. So in this text, I want to see the colon, on at which number colon comes. So all I would do is, I would just use the colon symbol over here. And which text do I want to see? I want to see in B3. And what is my starting number? So I want to begin from the starting itself. So let's use 1 over here, and press enter. So it gives me 11. So if you are to count the numbers, it will exactly be at the 11th, 11th position. All right. So what we did, we just found out the length, or where does the colon comes. And at this point, it might not be useful. You might think, what do I use this for? When you use text functions in a nested way, that's where all this would come to your aid. Okay. So length, the next formula is length. So length is, it's like the formula itself says, it's the length of a text. All right. So you can just use this formula to count the number of characters in a particular text. All right. So again, this is a fairly, straight formula. We just use length. And let's see what how many letters are over here. So we have about 47. Okay. So this is find and length. Like I said, it it might not be, you might think, okay, what do I do with these numbers? Okay, no, at this point it might not look that useful, but then when you use it with other formulas like left, right, so that's when it becomes really useful. So if you see over here, we have first name. First name is really straightforward. We do not have to do anything over here. These are fairly straightforward. You can just copy paste, or you can just use it in any other formulas. But the last names have some text along with it. So for us, obviously, you could use the text to column function, but that might, again, if you have a really unstructured text, it might not be that useful. Okay. uh, and how do we do it with left and right formulas? I mean, excel has multiple solutions for for the same question, but let's use left and right and see how we can get this done. Okay. So what do we do? So in left, let's use this, and we'll get up until the colon over here. Okay. So what do I want to use? So I want to use the text that is towards the left in this particular in this particular text. You can usually feed in numbers. Let's say you put 7. Okay. It gives you that 7 number, but that 7 is a static function, right? It's a static number. It for us to make the formula more useful or more substantial, we got to make it dynamic so that it can be used universally. Okay. So in that case, what we do over here is, so you have a letter, you have a number over here, 7. Okay. And if you look at find and length, that's what we were dealing with over here. We were dealing with numbers. Okay. So if you look, if you closely look at this particular text, we have colon everywhere, right? So let's, instead of putting a number over here, let's find that uh, character within this text, which starts from the beginning itself. Okay. So now, if you let's drag these ones too. All right. But if you see over here, we are getting an additional character over here, which is not needed, right? So what do we do? It's a simple math problem again. So now it is giving me 11, 11 letters. So I just wanted to give me 10 letters. So I would just include one more argument saying -1. So it gives me what I needed. Okay. Now if you drag this formula down, it looks up at everything, and then gives you the data in a way that you want it. But do I have my last name in a proper way that I needed now? No, it's not. There is still numbers around it. Okay. So what do I do? So now let's use one more formula to make it to make it even more crisp and even more useful. So in here, we used left and find as a nested formula over here. In here we'll use right and length and find. So it's a combination of three different formulas. So in this, I want, again, I can put 6 over here, and it gives me six letters. That's a static thing. But is that something that I want? Is it 6 common across the board? It does not. There are different names, or there are different number of characters. So what do I do? How do I make it dynamic? So let's use this. First we'll use length. Okay. And then we'll use find. So if you closely look at this particular text, there is space that is common across the board. So if we use this, and now if you closely look at the formula, this particular argument is returning me a number that basically looks at the last name, that and it is, it is working again dynamically. When we had put 6, 6 was a static number. It was returning 6 characters regardless of how many characters were there. Now what it does is it acts very dynamically, and if we drag down the formula, it gives everything that we want, right? um let's see, if that works out. All right, if you look at it, now it is working all fine. Okay. So uh, I hope you guys were able to get this, because this is this may sound really, really simple, but then when the actual, when the actual business case comes, or when the actual use case comes, these are few things that will really aid us, to use Excel in a more effective manner. Okay. Let's use concatenate, because I think, we are at a right position to use concatenate formula. Okay. Concatenate basically concats things, basically adds different text from different cells, or different, you can just type in, like, you can just type in text in this particular formula. Okay. So I've basically used everything over here, so let's use this concatenate as a formula. Okay. So for me, text one is obviously the first name. So what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to, I'm trying to get the email ID for these guys. Okay. Um so so the the email id is first name dot last name at the rate domain.com. So I'm using a cell over here, and you basically separate text by commas. Okay. So the next text for me would be full stop, or dot rather, and the next one would be this one, because this is our right last name, which is in column J. If you look at, if you understand the trail of this training, this was an unstructured text. So from that, we basically got this, we basically converted that unstructured text into a way that we wanted to use it. Okay. Now we want to add another text, and let's use domain.com. Okay. If you look at this now, from, we've used multiple different things over here. We've used first name, last name, dot, and at the rate, to create this, email ID. Okay. And let's drag this and see, if it remains the same. Yeah. So it is working as expected. Okay. So the next formula is mid. Okay. So mid is basically, it finds the middle, say, how do I put it? So if you have, a 100 character length, 100 character text, if you want to get only the, middle 5 or middle 6 or middle 10, characters out of that particular text, mid does that for you. Okay. So what I've done over here is, if you look at this, I'm basically pulling domain from F2. Okay. So for you to get mid, this is all you have to do. So what is that you want to do? So from here, and again, if you look at this formula, it's a combination of mid and find. Like I said, during the start itself, I said find and length might just look like numbers, but these are gonna be, useful in a large manner, when you start using it with other formulas, or when you start combining it with other formulas. Okay. So let's use this, let's try creating this. Okay. So from mid, I want, um yeah. Okay. Now if you look at this, it is giving us a different thing, because if you see over here, we had to get the sixth, we had to, if you look at the formula, if you understand the formula, so we are using, for us, one is the letter, one is the starting number over here. Instead, if we use 6, uh, Just give me a second. The formula is broken for some reason. Ah, okay. Sorry. So, okay. So, I basically, you know, so the starting number had to use find, so that you basically look at the the text from at the rate. Yeah. Now, if you look at this, so you might ask me, how why there's a plus one over here. If we don't do this, then it would give me add domain, because Excel starts counting from the letter where it is. Okay, so at is in the maybe 11th position over here, or 12th position. So we want only domain, which is a six-lettered word. So let's make it seven. Instead of looking at the 11th word, it starts looking at 12th word and gives us domain. And is it working as expected? Yes, it is. Okay. So replace and substitute, these are another way of doing your control R, or replace function. But in here it is more structured. Okay, this is more dynamic. Even if you change something, your formula would still not be broken. Okay, so what are we doing over here? If you look at, this is our expected text. Okay, so what I've done is done over here is, from pooja.agarwal@domain.com, I've made that domain to show @new.com. Okay, so what do we do? So if you look at the formula again, it's replace, right? Replace. So what do I do? So this is my old text. Okay, and for me the starting number is, again, where do I want to where do I want to fix it, or where do I want to plug this particular text. Okay, so for me, again, I have to find that particular, the position of that particular text. Okay, so what do I want to do? So I want to use at within this text, which is again from the starting. And then I want to basically you know um, replace six letters, which is domain, with new. Okay, so there you go. You still have new over here. Say if I were to make this as ram over here. Okay, your formula takes care of it. Okay, if you do this in control find, or doing a replace function using the control F control R thing, it might not be this dynamic. Okay, so just track the formula and see, everything is replaced with new over here. Okay, replace and the I hope everyone are clear so far. We'll take the questions towards the end of the session. Okay, so the next thing is substitute. Again, substitute works similar to replace, but in here it replaces a letter, or a character. Okay, so if you look at this particular text over here, so we are using F2, that is the email ID. Here we have used dot between first name and the last name. So basically, the requirement is to replace dot with with, or substitute dot um with with underscore. Okay, so what do I do now? So again, open the formula pane, and then what is the text that I want to this is the text that I want to use and replace the characters. Okay, and let's end it, let's separate it to the comma. And the old text for me is dot. Okay, the new text is underscore. So instance number is nothing but whether if you want to replace this at the first instance or the last instance, or the or anything in between. Say we have only one dot over here. Assume we had three different dots. Okay, if you wanted to if you wanted to substitute within the second instance, we just put in second, two over here. Since we have only one dot over here, let's use one. Okay, so if you look at the if you look at the cell over here, now instead of dot we have an underscore. Again, you can do this with control r function, but the only the the biggest advantage with formula is the minute your metadata changes, your formula will also will also take the change, take changes into effect. And you don't have to do the same things over and again. Okay, so the last, we have few more over here, wherein basically we whenever we get these are some things that that comes to your aid when you send out a survey using Microsoft form or a survey monkey thing, where people don't use a similar format or similar way in typing in their answers or their name. For you to look at the data, give an aesthetic touch to it, for the data, the format, everything has to be in a proper manner, right? So that's when all this upper lower proper would come to your aid. Okay, so what do we do? So upper is where we convert everything to capital letters. Okay, again, this is not a this is not a uh, complicated formula at all. It's just one cell that you need to look into. Say I want last names to be in upper, up in upper letters or capital letters. So I go here, and then, and does it work everywhere? It would. Okay, and I want all the, and if you look at the formula, it is just the formula and the cell reference. Okay, and I want all the last names to be in lower letters or in small letters. So all you have to do is go to lower lower this thing, or formula, and select where do we have a last name. This is the most formatted last name that we have. You look at this, everything is turned into small caps, or small letters rather. Okay, um, and obviously, you can do all this stuff from over here also. When you go to font settings, you can obviously change how it looks and stuff. But then using a formula is always advised when when you're dealing with large data, so that whatever change happens to metadata, the subsequent formulas will also have taken that into consideration. Okay, so now we basically introduced an unstructured text over here. Okay, Ram is unstructured, Agarwal is unstructured. So we want it to be first letter caps, then followed by small letters, first letter caps, then followed by small letters. For that we have a formula called proper. Okay, so now let's use proper. Okay, and bring this. Okay, now if you see, it's just you know the name is coming correctly. So again, if you want to use this in a nested formula way, all you have to do is go to concatenate. I want to make it, basically make it first name space last name, and let's call proper proper formula one more time, and then close this. So now if you look at this, there you go, we have the names properly. So from these two texts, we were able to get this much information. Imagine if you were to do it manually, or if you were to use control find or some cut copy paste method. It would have taken ages. I mean, yes, we have only 20 names over here. Imagine having 20,000 names, or imagine you working for a large company where you have 2 lakh employees and you had to do this. So at that time, this would be, this would be more useful. And I hope, this comes to your aid in your, in your ventures. All right. We have another thing called trim over here. A trim is basically used in removing unnecessary spaces. Okay. So in this text, if you see, there is space over here, space over here, space over here. So this is basically, this is basically not required. Say suppose if you were to concatenate all this text, you would have unnecessary spaces in between. So in such case, what you do is, you use this formula called trim. Okay, I'll tell you what trim does. Trim, again, is a very basic formula. It is not at all, it is not at all complicated. You just select the cell that you want to look at, and then close it. Okay. And then now let's paste everything as values. Okay. And see if you were able to, remove the remove the, additional spaces. So if you remember, we had extra space in this particular cell, that is row number 4. Okay. So now if you see that that particular, you know uh, space is gone. Say, if you were to concatenate different things that had, that had space in between. Sorry. So say if I were to introduce a space over here. Okay. Now see, there is a space in the name, as in the email ID as well. So you might as well just use trim in here. You can just go in here, use trim, and then close it. Now if you see that that particular option, that particular space is gone. Okay. Or it's not, basically, it's a different thing that should have changed. Or if you have to do it again, so here is where you change. So so if you change it, then the space is also gone over here, right? So that's how we use trim function, in a nested formula as such. Okay. I hope you were able to follow everything that I've just spoke about. We have just a few more formulas to look at. Those are basically, using text. How do we get different values? So these are the different formulas that we've looked at so far. And if you go to text to date again, so this is the value that I've got. Okay. And again, like we saw in the previous sheet, these are the expected values. Okay. So now, yes, we have this. Okay. You might as well just make it 12/04/2016. Okay. Mind you, this is in month, date, year format. But you have only eight dates over here. As you may have 800 dates. You cannot basically manually put everything. All right. So what you would do, so you would just use this function called text, which is again, this is one of the strongest formulas, again, which is often not used by many people, from what I've seen. So I'm going to convert this text into date. Okay. How do I do it? So I've selected the text, and I'm going to give a format to it. Okay. Again, so any format should come in double inverted commas. So uh, that's month, date, and year. Okay. And let's close this. Sorry, I had to put the inverted comma over here. So now if you see, from a you know from just being a number, it became date. Okay. So Excel is, again, it's a wonderful tool. It understands all this stuff and gives you data that the way you wanted. Okay. Now let's for argument's sake, let's bring in a different date over, maybe different month over here. Okay. So now from this date I want to extract only year. So how do I do it? Yes, I was able to get into get in the date format. But can I extract a specific information from this? Yes. Okay. Again, we use the same function called text. Okay. So this is the value that I'm looking at, and the format that I want it is year. All right. Now you sorry, need to look at b3. So b3 is the date that you've created from this text. So from that date, can we extract only year? Yes, we can. And I'm sure you would be able to, you already know, or you're able to guess what do we do in month and date case. Same thing. We go here, and then just use text function again, select this, and then just see, just put in the method, the format that you want. Okay. So I've used mmm over here, so it gives me in the letters. Just say, suppose if I want only the number, just use m. Okay. It gives you the number. All right. um, and even if you use this, it gives you the number. If you want it to be in text format, then use three letters. Okay. So again, date, same stuff. Use text as the function. Okay. And then use date as the, or dd as the format, and then it gives you the data. Okay. So now in here, we wantedly introduce a different month. Let's if this is working out as expected. Yeah. So we introduce 11th as month over here. If you look at over here, it does. Okay. Say, this is the metadata that we have. Okay. Say if you change it to 2025, you see everything else changes. Say if you were to change it to 2025 March, it changes. So that's the beauty of Excel, right? You have, and if you look at this now, it doesn't even look like a date. You do not have a month. You do not have a proper date format to it. Just from a simple text, we were able to get this different information. All right. So that's the beauty of Excel, and that's the beauty of using formulas instead of using something that is really static. Okay. So that's all I had for today, for to cover in text functions. um let's see, if you have any questions. We have so many questions. Maybe Akriti, hope you were able to hear few things. Vijay Kumar, we use substitute uh, to replace a particular character. Okay. And Jitender, yes, you can use only one, only two m's when you're getting the, when you're using the text function, but it gives you the number instead of the text. Shobita, I did not quite get your question. Can we modify only rows? Can we specify from and to? Again, replace is where, yeah, I think replace is where you replace a particular text. Okay. Substitute is where you replace a particular character. This is what I've known. uh, and what else? Ashwini Kumar in this video. His name, how do if in the position of last. Okay, you need to put, you might have to put a nested formula over here. You basically create two different finds, and to find the first dot to begin as a starting number, and the last dot for to get the number. What else? If the format is ddmm, it works similarly, Poonam. It doesn't differ. Just because I have my machines format in mmddyy, it is coming up that way. Sure, Vandana. So trim is where we basically use Excel to remove any additional spaces that are there in the text. So if you look at this text, we have we have some additional spaces over here, which is not required. So what we do is, we just use this trim function to remove the additional text, to make it more structured. In here we have spaces only towards the end, but trim works even there are spaces in between. So we had space in this particular row, but if you look at it now, we do not have it. Hope that was useful. uh, how it recognizes from the first two. So it depends on your date format setting that you have. So since I have mmddyy, it picks up the first part as m, the next part as dd. Akash, I use Copilot and ChatGPT for creating this. I just asked ChatGPT to give me 100 random names, or I use my Copilot to give me 100 names, and I just copy paste it. Probably you could try using that. Ramesh, copy paste as in. Shobita, yes, you can modify specific rows. Uh, can you explain the length formula? Okay. So Karthikeyan, length formula is where we count the number of characters in a particular text. Okay. So this is a simple formula. You just type length and refer it to the cell that you want to count. So there are 47 letters in this particular cell. Vijay, yes, we can. We can substitute numerical values, but then just be sure of the instance. Say if you are using mobile numbers or something, or an employee ID, student ID or something, then you might have repetitions of number. So just be careful on the instances. Muhammad Azardin, yes, sure. Um, so I'm not going to type in everything, but I'm just going to explain concatenate how it works. Okay, concatenation is basically merging different cells and different text values. Okay, so the whole idea over here was to create an email ID using the last name, first name, and the domain.com. Okay, so what I did over here, so I had domain.com as a text, first name over here, and the last name from the which was derived from formulas. So what I did was I created concatenation where if you look at the column, the formula references over here. So this is a3, and I've introduced a dot over here between say double inverted commas, and j3 is last name, and at is a again a again a text, and e3 is domain.com. So once this was done, we were able to concatenate data from different cells, and we were able to get this email ID. uh, okay, can we use concatenate DDB? Namrata, I think yes. Nikhil, I think yes, we can do this. Never tried. Let's try doing that now. Yeah, it is possible, but the remaining formulas will break because Excel is not able to, uh, you know, identify that particular text as date. We have a date format with time. So you mean the date stamp? I think you can use the, yeah, you can use the same, thing, Jitendra. When you use text formula with that particular format, it would eliminate the day, it would eliminate the timestamp from the from the cell. Praveen, you can use the trim function to remove spaces. So what it does is it removes only additional spaces. Say suppose there is Ajay space Kumar, and there are few more spaces. So it just removes the space towards the end, and it does not affect the right spaces that are used. Suppose some mail IDs are written by using comma in one cell, then how can we? Uh, Nalini, I think what I would do is, I would just use find over here, because again, in using find I would use the comma. So wherever that comma is used, it would return numbers. Wherever it is not used, it would give you zero. I don't think that there's a certain, there's a set formula for it, but then it's just about using that find formula a little smartly. um, if we have some data, we need to find out which data have this issue. uh Kanchan Rai, I think by the looks of it, you could do, but other than that, I'm not really sure if I know a way of finding that. Pushpinder, okay. Hash value is obviously, the formula is incorrect. Uh, s- Hash na. There's a formula called if error. Okay, say this over here. So this is giving me an error. So what I would do is, I would just use if error, and if it gives me an error, and I would ask Excel to give me this no data found. So then it would return me no data found as a text over here. Hope that was useful. uh, Umesh, I've tried only trim and clean. I've tried only trim, and I'm not use clean. Maybe next time I'll use clean and let you know what is the difference. You can use replace function, Minakshi. Shobit, I'm not sure, if the time would allow me to do that. Uh, John, there are multiple websites. Not be able to name all of them, But then there are websites that gives you, that gives you paid templates. Aditya, yes, the formulas are over. How to specify a formula? I'm not really sure. I'm following it. Uh, can we use trim function to remove the space? Yes, Karthikeyan, yes. So explain text to column function. Okay, let's use this. Okay, so I want to, I want text from, anything. I want this to, separate using the colon over here. So what I would do is, and I just use this over here, and in here I put this symbol, and then click on finish. So now this gives me this information. Now again, if I want to, make it take it on the level, just use space and then click on finish, and then it will just give me the names of it. Okay, again, this is more static way of doing things, because every time you get text, you'll have to do this thing. But if you're dependent on formulas, even if your metadata changes, your formulas will take care of everything. Mm, maybe so. Okay, next. Akash, there is I think, we can cover that in the next part. That's a topic by itself. Karthikeyan, right? I've used right, find, and length. So basically, right uses, looks at the data from the right side of the text, and it brings back the number of characters that you've specified. I'm not sure, if this would work, because this is bringing, this would bring ambiguity in the formula. But let's try. There's no harm in trying. But I'm not entirely positive on getting data from this. No, it doesn't. It doesn't work. Harish Krishna, that's we look up. Think we are almost time. I think, and I've tried Max to, answer all of your questions. Uh, People from Skill Upright, if you have anyone from the call, do you want to think I have answered all the formula and all the questions. Harish, like I said, it's VLOOKUPs. I know you could use VLOOKUP and index to get this done. Um, Prachi, I spoke about this. Replace is used when we want to replace a text. Substitute is when we want to replace a particular character at a particular instance. Replace would just replace that text regardless of where it is and how many times it is repeated. uh, yes, Ninni Bhattacharya, you can use proper lower and upper